Welcome to episode 87 of The Leap Home, a tale of two sweeties.
In this week's episode, Sam leaps into a bigamist whose long-running deception is threatened when his second family shows up in the hometown of his first. After spending a bunch of time trying to keep the two tribes apart and finding a way to settle a gambling debt, Sam ultimately has to bring the situation to a head. But will he choose Rachel from Brooklyn or Ellen from Pompano Beach?
How about if we go to the movies tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Is our night, remember? Naughty schoolgirl night?
Afternoon, Ian. How are you?
I'm not too bad, Gerry. How are you?
Naughty?
Is this schoolgirl night for you?
For you?
No. Those folk are for the watching that do that sort of role play.
Not like how my schoolboy uniform just now with the shorts and a little cap.
I don't understand why you've been wearing shorts all day. Is it just for this bit?
You seem to like it. You have in the past. Anyway, let's move on from this.
Very quickly. Stakes are so low in this episode I almost fell asleep.
Yeah. Although I would say that it's an unusual message for the for the show itself. Sam, as we know, is generally very pro-family.
Yeah, but I think this is just an equally conservative outcome. He sees that a wrongdoer must get his comeuppance as being a legitimate goal, despite the fact it ends two families.
Or three, perhaps.
Well, we don't know that.
It also reminded me of the Jonathan Creek episode, Time Waits for Norman.
Oh, he just had too much love to give.
Yeah, so that was the only problem. I just love too many women. That's not a sin, is it?
Too much.
It's not a
of the time.
crime.
Just a loving guy.
If you do like Jonathan Creek,
There's a podcast for it at jonathancreekpodcast.com.
talking about socials and what have you.
Yes, you can find our socials at Leap Home Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, etc. For show notes, head to theleaphome.com. And if you want to hear next week's episode already, you can find it on our YouTube channel, Columbo Podcast Productions, where you can like, subscribe, and set up the notifications by clicking the little bell button, and we'll appreciate that if you do.
Let's crack on.
We get the same short clip as we saw at the end of last week's episode, where Sam arrives at the airport. He's greeted by his family as he leaps in, and then is summoned by the tannoy to the desk.
Yeah, the first family would be, I suppose, classified as a wholesome family consisting of a wife, a boy and a girl. And she notices that he, Martin Elroy, has just been paged. And when he walks through to take the call, he is stunned to reenact the previous welcome with a different, I suppose, less refined wife and kids.
That's one way to put it.
Mm-hmm. They're a little bit more earthy.
They're more New York.
The earthier side of New York. After the credits, we return.
Yes, we learn it's the 25th of April 1958. And this second wife, who we learn, is called Rachel.
Yes.
She tells Sam that she knows he's here on business, but the kids were missing him and they hadn't seen him for so long that she checked his itinerary and arranged to arrive here around about the same time as he did.
Yeah, he's now covered in lipstick. And this second wife, she's from, they mentioned Brooklyn.
Yes.
So she has driven down to Florida to surprise him, which she certainly has. Now, the boy, he wants to know where they're staying, but look, you've turned up. Why do you think you would have a place to stay?
I'm not sure he's got the full story from his mother.
Ah, right.
She's probably just told him we're going to meet your dad.
Okay.
So Al shows up at this point and tells Sam what hotel he should direct them to.
Yeah, the Pompano Palace by the beach.
Yes.
He also advises that he drop his name when booking, which Sam then relays to his confused but very horny wife.
Both his wives are quite horny.
Yeah, in different ways. One is more overt and continuous.
Despite the children being around.
Yeah. She wonders why Sam won't be checking in with them and doesn't know who Al is, even though her little girl points to the man with the red hat and the cigar. See, that's the type of thing, it's in this episode especially, it's never really addressed, it's brushed aside, but this must surely in the future cause psychological damage.
Certainly, she's going to grow up believing she saw this guy.
Mm-hmm. And constantly refer. Do you remember the guy in the airport with the red hat and the cigar? That over those couple of days?
If she gets to be 16, they take her to a psychiatrist,
Yeah.
she still thinks she saw a guy.
Then she, because she sees no one else like that, so she then assumes that she was literally seeing things and having conversations.
Yeah, and in those days, probably years of chemical treatments,
Yes.
incarceration.
ECT.
Yeah, well, we've seen this in the show already, or perhaps lobotomized.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows? She confronts Al at this point.
And Sam has to explain, or as Al has himself explains, that he is Daddy's invisible friend and that Sam is her daddy in disguise, which she apparently just accepts.
Oh yeah, she's quite credulous throughout this episode.
She seems really, really stupid for for her age. This isn't a toddler.
Yeah, she's portrayed as kind of precocious, but also really gullible.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, I can honestly say that when I was that age, had that happened to me, I would not simply go, "Oh yeah, it's my dad," and I'd say, "No, who are you talking? What are you talking about? That's not my dad."
Yeah, I know what my dad looks like.
Yeah,
basically. Yeah. Sam gets some cheek off his son here.
Yes, and as they start shouting at each other, Sam sends them off on their own to the hotel, claiming he's got to meet a client as part of his salesman's job.
For a moment, it looks like Jessica, the little girl's repetition of what Al is saying is going to cause some difficulties for Sam, but quite smartly he points out that she's talking to his invisible friend, which allows her mother to ignore everything that she has to say.
Yes. And so she leaves after he promises her he'll be home for dinner. And alone for a moment, he catches a glimpse of his, I would say, slovenly exterior and moans to Al that he's a bigamist before attempting to discover why he is there.
Can you believe this? I got a wife in Brooklyn and a wife in Pompano Beach.
Yeah, it seems like a great setup. Unless they meet. That's what Ziggy says you're here to do, is to keep them apart.
For how long?
Don't know. I mean, Marty had no idea that Rachel was coming to Florida.
Who's on Rachel?
The last one. The one that gets hot in the trucks. Her kids are Josh and Jessica. Now, the wife that wants you for dessert is Ellen. Her kids are Mary and Martin.
Mary Martin?
Yeah, Peter Pan was big in the 50s.
Yeah, well, where's Tinkerbell?
That's your dog. You got a pedigree greyhound.
Marty!
I got a greyhound for a pet?
Yeah, you're a big fan of the dog races and you bought Tinkerbell for an investment. Now listen, have fun with Ellen, but don't be late for Rachel. This is my kind of leave.
Dad, let's go, honey.
So a couple of things there. I'm not sure why Ziggy is participating in this deception. So he says that Sam's there to make sure they don't meet, but that doesn't solve it. That just keeps him in the same situation he's in.
Yeah, we don't ever hear what the original history was.
No. And then Al says that this sounds like his type of leap. Al's a woman's man, a ladies' man.
Yes.
But I don't think most men would like 2 marriages. It's a lot of hard work. I can understand Al having affairs.
Yes.
But
it's a different, tempo.
Yeah, being married and having a family is hard. It's time consuming. It's costly. It's energy sapping.
No real benefit.
There's no real benefit. No. It's all a downside, yeah. So I don't understand why Al, I don't believe he would like to be in this situation.
No, this just seems like the opposite almost of what Al likes.
Yeah.
Al likes things that you can walk away from.
Yes. This would be hell.
Not the way that he plays it though.
No.
We get a look at the family home here in Pompano Beach.
Yes, this is Ellen.
Yes.
We are over dinner. Martin, or is it Marty?
Marty Jr.
Marty Jr., yeah. Tells Sam about his science project success, whilst Mary is proud of having no cavities after her dental visit. So they are this sort of very, as I say, wholesome family. This, science projects.
On the surface, I think just.
Well, I'm not sure. The kids are.
There's a contrast being set up, obviously, between the
Of course.
smart kids and the prim and proper wife with the kinky side that we're about to find out about at the top of the
little
show.
toe rags.
And yes, the other ones who maybe take after their dad a little bit. Well, a little bit to some extent. But I think it's maybe not quite as black and white as it's initially portrayed.
Ellen reminds him of the rewards he promised and normally keeps in his tote bag, which she then goes to get.
Yes, at which point we learn about the possibly harmful, certainly concerning relationship that Sam has with Marty Jr.
Yeah, it's shown that all is not quite leave it to Beaver, as Junior hands over the racing handicapping that he's done for his dad and wants his $3 payment.
Sam is shocked by this. We should say it's not Sam's fault. He's just walked into this situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, he takes this maths test, special maths test, I think it's called. with some degree of shock.
Ellen returns and Junior is not happy with another shoehorn from a hotel, and Mary is equally unimpressed with her disposable shower cap. But see, this is the thing. If he is portrayed as this type of guy,
Yeah.
this must they wouldn't be expecting wonderful gifts. He'll have spent all the, as you know, that's why he's giving them freebies.
Yeah,
He's no money.
He seems like a guy who promises big and delivers small.
So I'm not sure why they would think otherwise and be disappointed.
Oh, because he's told them it'll be different this time.
Oh, yeah.
And they are gullible, as we've learned about the other children earlier on.
Yes. Sam rummages in his bag and it looks like he has been stealing cutlery.
Not just a little bit of cutlery, an entire canteen's worth of cutlery.
Yeah, enough to get you arrested.
I would think so.
Yeah. Before Mary stands with an air of disgust and disappointment and says she's going to go study for her test and doesn't need his help as it's not about horse racing.
Indeed, that's a bit of a low blow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Marty Jr. asks why their mother gets more presents than they do, which is an unusual thing to question.
Is it?
I mean, I can understand why does my sister get more presents than
Yeah.
me, but not why does my mum? She's your mum.
Yeah. Oh.
Anyway,
He walks out in disgust as well, and there's an awkward silence that is broken when Sam claims he has a meeting in the Japanese time zone.
yes, but here.
Yes.
Ellen pleads with him to stay for movie night, but he won't do it. He won't take them to the theatre and suggests that they go the next night, as we heard at the top of the podcast.
Yes. I think it's a cartoonorama.
Yeah. Ultimately, he suggests that they go ahead to the movies, and when his meeting's done, he'll join up with them there.
Yeah, he goes to leave after she pulls him in for a big kiss. I don't think either of these women are vulnerable and timid enough for Sam to be attracted to them.
No, and you can see that through
He's
the
scared of
episode.
them. Yeah.
They're both quite assertive and quite independent, and maybe they've had to be by the fact that he's never there, presumably for any of them for any particular amount of time.
Yeah. Back in the hotel room, he continues his smooching with Rachel and is then invited to get stuck into the pizza she's ordered.
He's not interested in that, but his taste is more piqued by the knowledge of chambermaid night being ahead.
No, Bill, he says peaked. I'm not sure peaked's the right word. He's I think he's a bit uncomfortable with this
He's
as well.
completely uncomfortable, and especially the fact the kids are running around now.
Yeah, well, he's glad to be interrupted by Josh, who, unlike his counterpart, is delighted with all the crap that he's stolen from the maid's cart.
Well, he's stolen it himself.
Yes.
Yes, followed up in his dad's.
Orders on his lifestyle. Rachel reminds them that they need a bath mat, and ignoring Sam, he runs out to procure one. That's the Josh.
Yes.
Leaving Sam alone with this assertive woman. Fortunately, Jessica saves him.
Yes, she's the young girl. She shows up again from wherever she was and wants to know about this device between the beds that has a coin slot.
Yeah, it's a vibrating bed, and we see Rachel, she licks her finger. She's quite suggestive here.
Indeed.
And points out that she's another way of making the bed shake. Okay.
When her 5-year-old daughter's there.
Before Jessica reveals too much cynicism for a kid of her age by refusing to hand over a dime for Sam to put in the machine to show her how it works.
She says she's no sucker.
Yes. Al has shown up as Jessica lies on the bed, and there is typical confusion as Sam openly talks to him and Rachel answers while the kid points out that he's talking to his invisible friend.
Yeah, which everyone just ignores now because Sam's covered that one off earlier on. Jessica then heads to the toilet and beats Sam to it, so he can't go in there to speak to Al, and he has to go out to the corridor, saying he's going to use one of the other toilets.
And I think Rachel reminds Jessica to open the window
Yes.
when she's finished.
Yes.
So outside, instead of waiting to get privacy, Sam immediately starts talking to Al and gets weird looks from other guests.
Yeah, well, the first thing he says is he's a bigamist as a guy walks towards him along
Yes.
the corridor.
And he wants to know why he hasn't leapt after successfully getting the two families to their respective accommodation without bumping into each other.
Yes, Al at this point tells him he's been speaking with Marty Sr. and realises now that he himself could have had 10 wives instead of 5. You think he's probably joking.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a second part to this leap.
Yes, he has to choose one.
Only one family, and the odds are currently 50-50 as to who he should select.
There's pros and cons both ways.
Yeah.
And why should it be up to him?
Neither of them can work out who he should pick, and both seem to go against type when they make their first choice.
Yes.
Al doesn't go for Rachel, the more upfront, I suppose, or the more brash.
Yep. And Sam does. We learn at this point that he's been married to Ellen for 12 years and to Rachel for 9.
So Ellen is the actual wife.
Yes, you can't marry a second wife.
No.
So, yeah, although Rachel believes she's married to him, that would be illegal.
Yes. Rachel is a cocktail waitress, or was.
Yeah, she still is. We learn later on that she was working as a waitress in a cocktail bar.
That much is true. They married for a bet, I think, but apparently it worked out for them.
It stuck, yeah. Well, I think he better she couldn't stay married to him for a year.
So Sam's going to have to get to know both and then make a decision, but not before he gets himself to the movies. And so Sam returns to the hotel room to tell Rachel he has another appointment.
I'll see you later. Rachel, listen, I know you drove all the way down here to see me and everything, but right now I have this very important meeting that I have to get to, okay?
Didn't you have a meeting this afternoon?
Yes, but this is a meeting about that meeting. See, so I'll be back in just a second, okay?
You're making me crazy again, Marty. We drove all the way down here to see you.
Sam, no, maybe you shouldn't go because Siggy says there's a 50-50 chance you're supposed to be here with Rachel.
Look, then I'm going to be late for the other appointment.
Jessica missed a piano recital, and Josh missed his play, all because they wanted to spend time with their father.
Okay, all right. But you see, I can't be in two places at once.
I'm having palpitations.
You. Yeah, all right, look, okay. All right. Just sit down. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll cancel my meeting,
Oh, no,
okay?
you can't do that, no. Ziggy says there's a 50-50 chance you're supposed to be with Ellen.
All right, okay. And I'll tell you what, instead, let's all go to the movies.
Oh, you really mean it?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Oh, how we all go see Chainsaw Massacre in the Sand or Invaders from Uranus? How about that?
No, we're going to the Cartoonorama.
Dad, I hate cartoons. I'm sick of
Yeah,
cartoons.
well-
Sounds dangerous to me.
You got a better idea?
I just gave you 2.
Josh, stop whining. Come on, Jessica.
I'm ready.
Okay, last one of the cars a rotten egg. Let's go.
I get to sit in the front. No, I do. No, you just
It's
last
Jessica's
time.
turn, Joshua.
No, that's it. No, shoot. It was
No lip from you, or you stay right here.
The way that they set up these set plays that we're going to see, and the way that they Scott Bakula and Dean Stockwell play this, it's a farce.
Yes,
This
it
episode.
is a farce. It's almost a cliche. We've seen this before. It's slapstick. It's sitcom level of nonsense and shenanigans.
Yeah, it's closer to Fawlty Towers than Jonathan Creek,
Yes.
despite what we said earlier on.
Yes. So at the end there, Josh was unhappy and he is just as cynical and weary as his sister and stuns Sam by claiming that after every father-son talk, he always hits him up for cash. But he's now broke.
Yeah, he gives Sam his last 52 cents and leaves. I think Sam recognises this sort of underlying sadness in the child, that he doesn't have a relationship with his father that isn't based on money or isn't transactional.
It's quite sad and pathetic.
You imagine it's the relationship that Donald Trump has with his kids.
Al is equally unnerved by this and he says he's going to go and speak with Ziggy to see if she can adjust the odds. I don't know, when they say select a family, because Sam's a bit of a scumbag father, so if you're selecting the family to go with, is the winner the one that you don't end up with?
I don't know.
Who's he meant to? If he gives himself to one family, is that a punishment?
Yeah, surely they should have Ziggy running scenarios. What happens if I pick this family? What happens if I pick that family? Who does well? Who fails? What's the best outcome?
And as you said, we don't know what the original history was. What can go wrong here?
Lots of things could go wrong. Yeah, you could end up with one of them taking it really badly.
Anyhow.
Talking about farce.
Yeah, Sam engages in this, some old-fashioned, cliched slapstick routines as Woody Woodpecker plays on the screen.
He makes constant excuses to go to the toilet or to the lobby to get snacks, and he's back and forth from one family to the other.
I think we need to point out, he initially sits with his arm around Rachel.
Yes, because he's travelled there with them.
But he gets very nervous and leaves after she insinuates that a hand job's on the cards.
Well, yeah, her hand's crawling up his thigh, and he's not interested in that sort of thing because he does not have time. He has to go and see Ellen at the other side of the theatre. Obviously, he's clocked Ellen and the kids on his way in. He's lucky they've not clocked him.
This is very risky.
Yeah, of course, but that's the whole point.
Yes. So he sits with her and then leaves under the guise of getting popcorn.
Before the intermission, yes.
I think that's not how they do it. They wait until the intermission, so this is a bit odd behaviour.
Well, this is what happens when he joins Ellen, who won't let him play the same card.
Yeah.
She says, wait.
And I think she also wants a bit of hand fun as well.
She's certainly heading that direction.
Unfortunately, Junior also wants to go, and so he tells him that he's going to go for a soda and we'll meet him back in the the theatre.
Yes, so Junior goes to the toilet and he goes to buy food that he promised Rachel and the other kids originally.
But he then bumps into the suspicious Jessica, who says that Rachel wants to know what's taking him so long.
She's standing there like a character of a horror movie.
Yeah, like Abigail.
Young Abigail, yeah.
Yes. So he brushes this off and says that he's going to get food and will meet her back inside. And he then places his order for the Rachel family, but is seen by Junior. And so he's forced to bring it all back to Ellen and pretends he got it for free as the 100th customer of the day of the week. I mean,
and again, Marty Jr.'s really happy to accept this lie and gives it to his mother.
Yeah.
There's no challenge.
Back in the theatre, he pretends to have forgotten ketchup and leaves with some of this food to return to Rachel.
Yes, but not all the food.
Yeah, so they're not happy that half of this is missing. He's only got himself to blame for thinking this would work or would be a good idea in any way.
His next step is to try and rectify that by going back for the missing food, but at this point, both wives decide they've had enough.
Yes.
And each individually comes out looking for him, but conveniently neither use his name to shout on him.
Al has appeared and is drooling over the goodies he can't taste and witnesses both wives coming from left and right. So Sam hides in a terrible place.
Yeah, not even hidden, really.
No. But somehow manages not to be seen by the wives, who cross paths with each other a couple of times before giving up and heading back.
And then things take an even more farcical turn.
Yeah. Okay, how?
As Sam stands up and is immediately collared by a couple of heavies from a gambling outlet of some kind.
Yeah, Al has no information on them, but assumes that they are fellow gamblers before they hustle him down the stairs for a little chat, which results in him getting punched in the gut and reminded that he owes them $2,000.
He's only got 24 hours to come up with it.
Although the chap does give him back a few bucks for his popcorn.
Quite convenient.
The next morning, voiceover Sam notes that even though he has two wives, he ended up sleeping on a park bench. What
a decision that was.
This is incredible.
So he's just not gone back into the cinema?
I don't know. This is mental.
Or did he go back in and have an argument with one of them? Who knows?
But you can still surely go to one of the locations.
Well, obviously he's upset them both by just not going back in.
Why would he not go back in?
I don't know.
He could go back to both of them, say, I'm not feeling too well or anything at all, and I'll get you back home.
Yes, but then one of them's going to be disappointed.
Yeah, still you've got a place to sleep.
No, that's true.
I'm just sleeping on a park bench.
Well, it's Florida.
I mean, every night, he knows he can only sleep in one. So what he's done now, he's disappointed in both, or maybe not, but he would have to have made that sleep in one place anyway.
Yeah. Anyhow, he shows up at the house where Ellen has already left for work.
And Junior only reluctantly opens the patio door to him.
Not long before giving him some hidden cash, thinking that's what he's here for. And again, there's an underlying sadness to this.
Yeah, I think the boy lists the number of times he's been disappointed and let down by his dad's behaviour. Sam
Apologises for these and is allowed in to take a shower. But he also takes the money, I should say.
He does, yeah.
He doesn't hand it back or anything.
Yeah, I mean, he apologises for his past actions and promises to make it up with him, which seems to satisfy the kid who, as you say, allows him to come in with the proviso that he will check his pockets when he leaves. It's really horribly cynical.
Yeah.
And world weary for the kids of this age.
They've clearly had a difficult upbringing.
Yes.
And that's what you'd expect.
Which is why I really don't understand what any of these attractive, intelligent, vibrant women see in this guy. We saw, his image. He's not a looker. He is a degenerate gambler. He doesn't really provide well for his family.
Maybe he's incredibly charismatic.
Or maybe he's really, I was going to say really good in the old sack, but I don't know, maybe he is. But
that is what they both seem to be going for.
Sure. But is that enough?
How good could he be for that to be?
Is that enough for a woman, do you think?
Well, we've seen him in a mirror. He's quite a, hefty fellow. He's not like he's wowing them with his physique or anything.
No, again, and even that, it's quite superficial, isn't it, to say that would be enough to sustain. That's all a woman wants.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And you can't say he's like a good sense of humour or something, because that doesn't count for anything when you let them down over and over again.
He seems just like a sort of scummy guy. So I don't understand what
waster.
There is nothing here. Unless you show that, maybe he's a terrific salesperson and but even possible. Then, he's never got any money. So it's not as if even if he is good, he's losing it all on the track anyway.
Yeah, we hear later on about him selling stuff.
Yeah.
Fund gambling.
Yeah.
And you see from the kids, he's always taking money off the kids. So he's obviously not successful in any way.
No, I think you have to have one majorly redeeming feature for this to make any sense whatsoever why they would want to be with him.
It's just a set play. It's a set play in a farce, and that's all it can be. We head back to the hotel where, yet again, Sam is given funds by one of his children.
Yeah, very agitated Josh tells him that it's not a good idea if he comes in, and in any case, Rachel is in the hotel beauty parlour. And like his counterpart, assumes that Sam's just there for the cash.
It's worth noting, though, that there is obviously some genuine affection from these boys towards their dad.
Well, of course. I mean, it's their dad.
Well, there's not from the girls so much. Anyway, Josh's advice to Sam, and again, it's sad that a kid that age is having to give his dad advice, is that he leaves Rachel alone for a while.
Yeah. We find her having her hair done and chatting to the stylist about family before we have a big reveal.
Yeah, the stylist's Ellen. What are the chances?
Yeah.
Big mistake, I'll send him to that hotel.
In the corridor, Al is messing with Sam, pointing out he will not have one but two broken thumbs if he doesn't come up with the cash that night, but thinks that Ellen is the more likely source of funds.
I really don't know why I put up with my husband. I guess it's because deep down he has... I don't know what he has deep down.
Sometimes I worry about my kids. Junior looks up to his father so much. I'm afraid he's going to be in for a big disappointment.
My husband isn't much of a father. He thinks I should raise the kids. We have a very traditional family.
So you don't work?
No, I work. I'm a cocktail waitress at the Turf Club.
Gambling makes me sick.
Oh, me too.
At least my husband doesn't gamble.
Oh, neither does mine.
Thank goodness.
Thank God.
I can't imagine what it would be like to be married to a gambler.
Absolute hell. Not that I would know.
You're gonna have a hell of a time getting a handout from either one of them.
Which is why I need to know which wife I'm supposed to choose.
What's it got to do with the 2000 clam?
Because he said that I'm here to pick between Rachel and Ellen, right?
Right.
So I've been spending all my time running around between both families trying to decide which family needs me the most, and I still don't have an answer, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna go to
Gesundheit.
I gotta go to Rachel and hit her up for $2,000. I better make sure, darn sure, that it's not her, because if it is, then she's never gonna speak to me again. Then I'll never leave out of here. I'll be stuck in the
freaking out here, women.
What's she saying?
She says, get the hell away from the win.
The win.
Yeah.
The what?
Dough.
The
window. Get the hell away from the... Oh, the window. Get away from the window. Quick. No wonder Ziggy's freaking out. They're probably talking about you in there right now.
Yeah, even that motif there it's got that sort of slapstick comedy,
Top, yeah.
80s feel to it.
Since when did Ziggy give real-time advice?
He never gives, or she never gives real-time advice like this.
No, that's not how Ziggy works.
Nonsense. I'm making up as I go along now.
Whoever fits the story.
Yeah. Sam is not happy that Al didn't let him know about the two women's relationship with each other, but slides off with a newspaper covering his face with a plan to make a call to one of them.
Back inside the parlour, the women are talking to one another about advice that they got about husbands and...
Yeah, Al joined him at this point.
Yeah. And ultimately the phone rings.
Yes, for Rachel. Although they both realise that they have the surname Elroy.
They do.
Sam persuades her not to hang up and then admits to being a terrible person, but insists that he wants to turn over a new leaf and truly doesn't want any money from her. Instead, she is intrigued to hear that he's left a note on her car, which Al admits is an inventive way to get her out of the salon. I sort of agree with that. I think it's done well there.
Although she sounds a bit reluctant when she speaks to Sam, Al points out that it's quite apparent that she's taken the bait and has been hooked by his ploy. And this is the point where I noted the picture quality drops quite significantly when it comes back to Sam and Al in the lobby. It's almost like it was being shot 20 years earlier. I don't really understand
Maybe
what's
it's
happened
different
there.
film stock or a different camera they had
Or
for
they
some
lost
reason.
an original,
Yeah, had to. Anyway, yeah. Sam assures Al that she will love the note and that he knows why he is there.
He then goes into the beauty parlour while Rachel's away and invites Ellen on a date, inverted commas, at 6 p.m, to which she agrees. However, back outside, in the lobby, Sam is accosted by the goons.
Indeed, yes. So they're brought to, I think the head guy's name is Vic.
Probably. They're all called Vic.
In Vic's room, Sam complains that His time is not up. I think he was given, was it 24 hours?
Yes.
Yeah. But it's told that he's already 3 days late and he has to get the money.
He quite cleverly uses a fake phone call as a cover to speak with Al.
And as he does so, he gets an idea.
Yes, he wants Al to tell him who wins this horse race they're watching on television so he can win the money to pay off the debt.
He's going Biff, isn't he?
Yeah, full Biff, but Al refuses.
I didn't agree. I don't like this. Al says, no, these were your rules. You could not use time travel. You could not use the project for personal gain, but he's not.
It's not for personal gain. It's for getting out of this situation.
Yes.
Which is different from when he was messing around with Donna Elise back in episode 2 of the first season or whatever else.
And the thing is, he always uses time travel for personal gain when he wants
Every
a sexual...
Yeah. Impregnating women throughout history.
Of course, yeah. But just then, Al tells him that Jessica is packing her bags and is going to run away.
Why?
Now,
Why did they put that in?
I don't know. And the thing is, had Jessica been 14, you'd say, okay, yeah, she could get away and she could get herself into trouble. This kid is... What, 5, 6, 7. She's going to get as far as the front door. She's not going to know where to go. Someone is going to stop her and say, listen, where's your mum and dad?
Exactly. However, because we know that Al can see Jessica and Jessica can see Al, more to the point, he is sent to prevent her from making this dash for freedom.
He then empties his pockets for Vic. I think he wants a loan of $3.50.
A very small amount.
To make it up to $50. He's got whatever it is on him.
Yeah, because he wants to bet on this 40-1 outsider in the horse race because his maths tells him that'll pay off his debt.
See, I did not... I would much have preferred it for Al to give him the winner, and then this makes sense. But everyone's relying on this outsider to come good, and it's just a nonsense.
Yeah, the horse is even called Lead Balloon.
In any case, the sensitive side of Vic makes him reluctantly agree. I don't know if we mentioned that before, but Vic throughout this has always tried to show himself as being sort of different from the usual.
He's got a creative heart, I think they say at one point.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
it's so hard. They're in it hardly at all, and they just kind of float in and back out again, and that's it. Back at the hotel, we see Al talking to Jessica.
Yeah. Did you notice he had a domino with an Allen key on his tie?
Interesting choice.
It was, I mean, he's known for having wacky ties and garments, but this one stood out for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, he's talking to Jessica. What's he saying?
He explains to her that her mother needs her and she shouldn't be leaving because it would make her sad.
I think she also says that she doesn't think she has a real dad. That's quite heart-wrenching as well.
Al explains that he didn't either.
He did. We've discussed this before.
Yeah, no.
He wasn't an orphan.
No. He just has this orphan mindset.
Yeah, I keep telling people this. It's like stolen valor.
Orphan energy.
Yeah. And he always wanted a mommy who would take care of him. He tells her that she doesn't need him, but she does need her mother, and she needs her. And this talk does the business and stops her from running off.
Every time we see Jessica in this episode, she's persuaded by an adult to do whatever they want her to do.
Very gullible. That also, after this talk, why it was so sort of meant to be sort of emotional and heart-wrenching for both of them.
Yeah.
But she didn't even attempt to go for a cuddle, which would have been awkward because...
Go through him, yeah.
Yeah, so they couldn't do that.
No.
Because then she'd have went, oh, what's going on here? You're a ghost.
Yeah. Anyhow, Al returns as the race is finishing.
Yes, it's performing at the moment as a 40-1 outsider should.
Initially it is, but as it comes around the final part of the course, it's able to overtake all the other horses and appears to be on a different track.
Yes.
It just goes flying past them and wins the race.
They all celebrate, although Sam overdoes it a little bit. I think he grabs Vic and gives him a big hug or whatever.
I don't think Vic's into that.
No. Before Al appears through the TV like Freddy Krueger.
He says that Lead Balloon is going to win, but realises he's a little late.
Yeah. I mean, Sam could have his thumbs broken by this point, and Al's away talking to kids.
So at least we now know that Al's willing to break that rule.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we head back to the hotel where Al notes the bookies are now paid off and Jessica didn't run away, so all you have to do is pick a wife.
Sam smiles at this point and tells him that it won't be a problem, just as the elevator doors open and both wives appear.
Uh-oh.
And after they both try and claim to be his rightful partner, Sam confirms that it's no jokey-wokey, that he's married to both, and decides to come clean.
I am...
Sam,
A bigamist.
Stop it, will you?
First I married you, and then I married you.
Will you cut it out?
Let's stop horsing around and grab a bite. I'm starving.
Rachel, I'm the father of your 2 children. Ellen, I'm the father of your 2 children.
Will you change the subject for crying out loud?
Could we go home now, please?
I have 2 homes. I have a home here with you and a home with you in Brooklyn. Now, I'm not telling any more lies. I brought you 2 together on purpose.
On purpose? You brought them together. This was your plan.
I'm a lowlife. So go ahead. Let me have it.
You hussy!
You homewrecker!
He's my husband!
He's my husband. But
He's mine!
He's mine!
Driver's license, Ellen Louise Elroy.
Rachel Thelma Elroy.
Mary!
Mary!
Father David Murphy!
Rabbi Barry Goldstein!
That's enough. It's not her fault. And it's not her fault. I'm the one who married both of you.
She didn't know you were already married?
No, I never told her.
You hogged my silver candlesticks from great-grandma Sarah so you could spend money on her?
I didn't spend it on her. I lost it at the track, I think.
You can bet on it.
You know what? I believe you. He steals my children's allowance and spends it on horse races, and then he sends them to school with lunch and a bath bag.
Look, I'm sure that neither one of you have been happy one day with good old Marty since you married him.
What are you saying,
Oh, well,
Sam?
I've always been worried about something.
I'm always worried we're not going to be able to make rent.
I am constantly worried we're going to lose the house.
Oh, they're bonding.
Oh, I cannot
That's
tell
bad.
you how many sleepless nights I've spent wondering when the bank was going to...
Yeah, okay. Ultimately, they come round to his suggestion that he's the one to blame and both leave him.
Yeah, they walk off arm in arm, best buddies now. I will say this, that is a preferable outcome than what I initially thought would happen, that they both decide to sort of share him.
Well, yeah. I suppose their kids are technically half siblings.
Yeah, I mean, he will have to effectively still work between both families, he's not going to desert the kids.
Well, that's some of the questions I've got later on.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, we can't do.
Anyway, Al tells him that this is going to work out for everybody, even Marty Jr. is going to be fine, and Marty Sr. Everyone's going to be fine because of this. But he's not happy that Sam didn't tell his plan in advance.
Yeah.
There's a final dramatic twist, though.
What's that?
Just as Sam's about to leap, somebody else shows up.
Who?
A third wife with 2 additional kids.
I don't get what does he offer? What does he bring?
Well, she should be happy. He doesn't have any other wives anymore.
I mean, he must have, because obviously we only hear Sam's patter. He must be a really charismatic guy who can woo the ladies.
Maybe, or
Great
maybe
sense
just
of humour.
picks folk who are leveraged in some way, and who knows? He's a serial wronging.
We should probably have found out more about his background. Maybe as a kid he came from a broken home and he was abandoned.
Yes,
and
so
he's got his
marriage was important
he
to him,
keeps
yeah.
doing it. He can't. It's a compulsive thing that that would need to have been.
Every time he falls for somebody, he marries them. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been almost fine.
Well, it made sense.
Yeah, there's nothing here. We don't know why he keeps doing this and why they keep allowing it
We
to
don't
happen.
learn anything. Nothing changes.
No, very, very superficial episode. I think the writers have thought, wouldn't it be funny if it do that cliche of that slapstick?
Yeah.
And they built a whole episode around it without delving deeper.
Well, that's it. Like you say, superficial. After he leaps, he's a woman at a protest and has to throw his bra on a bonfire.
Oh boy.
That's the end. Fair enough. Who cares?
Yes. Yeah, I don't feel strongly about any family.
No, it kind of sucks for all the kids.
Yeah, of course, they all lose. Or does it? I mean, he was a scumbag, so maybe without that...
Their life changing. I mean, here it works out for them, but hopefully they get a relationship with one another and even these other new kids that have just shown up.
Yeah.
Should we go into some trivia? You know, thoughts?
Yeah, go for it.
So this originally aired on the 5th of January 1993. After a 3-week break, it was directed by Christopher Hibbler. Third of 4 for him. First was Temptation Eyes. Head back to that podcast to hear more about him. If you want to hear about the writer, it's Robin Bernheim. She started out in The Leaping of the Shrew. This is the third of her 5, all in the 5th season. Ellen Elroy, the first wife, as it were, was played by Mary Lou Childs. She didn't have much of a screen career. Only 3 other credits, in fact, for Head of the Class, Babes, and 2 episodes of The Powers That Be. There's not much about her to be known online anyway. Rachel Elroy, the Brooklyn wife, was played by Jill Tracy. This was her only Quantum Leap. She's also in Gilmore Girls, Spin City, Melrose Place, and Scrubs. but not to be confused with Nicole Sullivan, who played the character Jill Tracy on Scrubs. Her last screen credit was in 2015. Jessica Elroy, the precocious young child, was played by Ashley Peldon. This was her only quantum leap. She's also in things like Drop Dead Fred, Ellen, Home Improvement. She was Emmy nominated for her work on The Guiding Light when she was just 6 years old, becoming at that time the youngest Emmy nominee of all time. She's now 40, continues to perform mainly in voice roles for video games with a specialist skill of rage screaming. I know how she feels, yeah. Josh Elroy, the child who steals from maids, played by J.D. Daniels, first of 2 quantum leaps for him. He's also in The Mighty Ducks.
J.D. Daniels, Jack. Okay.
He's in The Mighty Ducks. I think Peter, he plays in The Mighty Ducks. Party of Five, Little Mermaid. He's been on Broadway as Gavroche as a child in Les Mis. He's now 44. His last screen credit was in 2009. Mary Elroy, the older child in Ellen's family, was played by Shay Astar. That's an interesting equity name, Astar. Anyway, this was her only quantum leap. She's also been in Third Rock from the Sun, Star Trek The Next Generation, ER, and Shameless. Also released some music. She's now 43. And her last screen credit was in 2017. Marty Jr., played by Michael Belisario. We've seen him before. This is the third of 4 quantum leaps for him. You want to hear more about him? Head back to the podcast for Kamikaze Kid in season 1. The receptionist in the beauty parlour was played by a woman called J.C. Wendell. This was her only quantum leap, but she's also in The X-Files, Dave's World, Nash Bridges, Diagnosis Murder, some other things. But her mother was Elmarie Wendell, who people will remember as Mrs. Dubček from Third Rock from the Sun, who was a long-running series regular. J.C. Wendell's now 60, still performing. On to the bad guys. Vic was played by Larry Manetti, his only quantum leap.
Oh, I recognise him.
You recognise him, best known for his work on Magnum P.I. I think in one scene he shows off a ring that he wore on Magnum P.I. quite prominently in this. He's also been in things like Battlestar Galactica, Flying Misfits, Starsky and Hutch, Hawaii Five-O. He's now 77, still active. The other guy with him was Gus, played by Jack Yates. This was his only quantum leap. He's also been in things like MASH, Dukes of Hazzard, Married with Children, and The Golden Girls. But his last screen credit was in 1997. In terms of some general trivia, the titles obviously play on the Dickens novel Tale of Two Cities, Best of Times, Worst of Times, so on and so forth. A lot of the filming for this episode took place in the Ambassador Hotel in LA. You might recognise it from Miss Deep South.
Yes.
That's obviously where Bobby Kennedy was assassinated. It's now been demolished.
Previously owned by Trump.
There you go. If you look on YouTube, there's a short clip from the filming of this episode that shows Dean Stockwell walking into a closed door to everyone else's delight, if you like that sort of thing. This is the last episode where anyone other than Sam sees Al. In terms of things we learned, not really much. Al's still got his orphan syndrome.
For some reason, Al would like to have lots of marriages at the same time.
If he's being serious, yeah. In terms of on this date, 25th of February 58, CND was launched by Bertrand Russell and...
Co-launched, I think.
Okay. Egyptian troops invaded Sudan.
Number ones, the UK had Perry Como with Magic Moments, whilst in the USA it was The Silhouettes and Get a Job.
Next week, Sam joins the women's lib movement when he leaps into a mother with a cause to fight for. So, we will see you in 1968.
Until then,
cheerio.
Bye-bye.